Well, we're studying conditional statements, and we can characterize a conditional statement by it's an if-then statement, where the phrase immediately following if is the hypothesis, and the phrase immediately following then is the conclusion. But sometimes we're given statements that aren't written in if-then form, and we're being asked to put them in if-then form. And by doing so, we're going to identify the hypothesis and identify the conclusion, and then rewrite the statement. Now, this corresponds to page 108 in your textbook, example 2. And let's look at a couple of examples here. We're given a statement that 4 quarters can be exchanged for a $1 bill. So let's kind of break this statement down and see if we can determine a hypothesis and a conclusion. So let's see. Well, we could look at this 4 quarters, and then we could look at maybe exchange for a $1 bill. So then we could develop a hypothesis that you have 4 quarters. Obviously, if 4 quarters can be exchanged for a $1 bill, well, you must have 4 quarters. And if you do, you can exchange them for a $1 bill. That would be our conclusion. And we use the little H and the C to signify whether it's a hypothesis or a conclusion. Now, let's rewrite this as an if-then statement. So if you have 4 quarters, then you can exchange them for a $1 bill. All right, that's not too bad. Let's look at one other. The sum of the measures of 2 supplementary angles is 180 degrees. Well, let's see. Maybe we would identify the 2 supplementary angles maybe as our hypothesis, and that the sum of the measures is 180 as our conclusion. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so the hypothesis then is the 2 angles are supplementary. Therefore, the conclusion is the sum of the measures is 180. And when we rewrite this as an if-then statement, then we would say that if 2 angles are supplementary, then the sum of their measures is 180. So here's a couple of examples of taking 2 statements, identifying a hypothesis, identifying a conclusion, and then rewriting it as an if-then conditional statement. Now, a little later on in this chapter section, we're going to look at the truth values of conditionals, and then we're also going to talk about related conditionals, converse statements, inverse statements, and contrapositives. I know you can't wait, but it's still coming.